A very good morning, students. Today we will discuss about the structural changes and economic development. I think it's a note that I've already sent it to you earlier. Yes, if we talk about the structural changes, that means we're talking about the transformation. We're talking about the transition of a society or of a country from the traditional agricultural society to a modern industrial society or economy. Okay, so yes, it simply relates to the changes, or it relates to the transformation, it relates to the transition, or changes how a society can change from how to put in from an old traditional society to a new modern or industrial society. Okay, and yes, talking about these changes, once these changes takes place, it will really bring about so many improvements. For example, it will lead to an increase in employment opportunity in the country. It leads to the exploitation of new resources. It leads to an improvements in the level of technology in the country, so on and so forth. Okay, so once these changes takes place, the society will be transformed automatically from an old primitive society to a new modern society. And yes, it will bring about all these changes that will really help a country to grow, a country to flourish through all these. For example, an increase in employment opportunities, an increase in the level of production, an increase in um, or something that relates to the exploitation of new raw materials or resources, as well as an improvements in the level of technology. Looking at the less developed countries, or what we call them as the LDC, okay, most of these countries are backward countries. Most of these countries are agricultural economies. That means looking at these economies or countries, majority of their population are engaged in the primary or the agricultural sector. So what happened was, if you look at the contribution of the other different sectors, be it the service sector, the secondary sector, is very small or is very low. So if you talk about this transition, yes, seeing, knowing that the the less developed countries, okay, we can see that majority of the population are engaged in the agricultural sector. And once, if there is too much than what is required in the agricultural sector, that means there is overcrowded in the agricultural sector, it will surely give birth to so many problems. So there is a need to transfer the human resources from the agricultural sector to other important sectors, be it to the industrial sectors or be it to the service sectors. But if I say to transfer or the shifting of the human resources from the primary sector to the other important sector, doesn't mean that the agricultural production will be lowered or will be affected. But instead, there is also a need to raise agricultural output. Okay, and how can this be done? It is only through important changes, through important land reform measures, through important agricultural techniques or methods, through important inputs or better marketing facilities, or uh, better credit facilities. Okay, so once, what we can say is that yes, if there even though if there is a transition, even though there is a shift of the human resources from this primary sector to the other important sectors, agricultural production should not be affected. But instead, yes, this can agricultural production should at the same time increase more through the certain important steps that is being undertaken by the government, be it, yes, like what I've been telling you just now, in terms of land reform measures, in terms of better marketing facilities, in terms of modern agricultural techniques or methods, so on and so forth. So, such a transition can really transform that country or that economy to something new, something different, or to a completely new modern society.